Okay, we got 10 minutes. January 24th, 2023, 8 a.m. Lindsay and Cora leave to go to her doctor's appointment. At 8:15, they arrive, the wellness appointment starts. It's her 5th well child. Do they normally have you dress in a gown? I've never had my kids change into a gown. So, curiosity, if you work in peds, do they make your children change into a gown? It's weird. I feel like she knew that there was something more going on. 8:17, Pissy Patrick sends a picture of Dawson looking soups cute. 8:18, Lindsay sends a picture of Cora in that gown and mask to Pissy Patrick. Here's where things start to get a little weird. 8:30, Lindsay and Cora supposedly, allegedly get home and Pissy Patrick goes down to work in the basement. At 8:42, Pissy Patrick sends Lindsay a text asking, how's it going at the doctor? Even though I just saw you upstairs. He left that part out. I added that. 8:43, Lindsay responds and says, good. She said that the urine looked good. The kidneys look good. But then she logs in. Sorry, let's rewind. 8:43, Pissy Patrick responds and says, you're a good mama. Disgusting. 9:40, Lindsay logs into my chart, looks at the appointment notes, and looks at the urine sample results. Which doesn't add up because she literally just told him that it looked good an hour earlier. So she didn't even have the results yet. So that doesn't add up. Here's where things get super sketchy. 11:42, you're going to see that Lindsay's name starts to now be in quotes, as it was when we did this previously. Lindsay texts snowman photo to mom and Pissy Patrick, allegedly. The data was tampered with, okay? The photo was tampered with. Also, it's 20 to 35 degrees out that day. I grew up in Michigan my entire life. I am a Michigander. I understand that snow can melt, but this snowman in this photo has a hat, a face, the head, a body, big ol' booty, a scarf on, and there's not enough snow on the ground to create said snowman, one. But two, when they show the photo later from when they did their pretend investigation, the snowman is like mostly melted. It's like 3/4 of a snowman, not even. It's like half a snowman. So that makes no sense. If you have a picture of the snowman, you should put it in the comments. 4 o'clock, Lindsay texts her mom, supposedly. 4:02, Lindsay searches for kids Miralax on her iPhone for about an hour, which is already weird. But kids Miralax is also weird. We talked about this originally as well. She never searched for kids before this. When they were reading her Google search history in the trial, she says children's. When you work in healthcare, you refer to things as children's. I understand in the comments, everyone's like, listen, I don't even work in healthcare. I know it's children's Tylenol. I know it's children's ibuprofen. If even people in the comments know it's children's, don't you think a nurse would know it's children's? That's questionable. But also, Cora is only 5 years old. She's not going to take Miralax. A nurse would know that, especially a labor and delivery nurse like Lindsay. And also, they were just at the doctor. So why are they now looking up Miralax instead of Pedialax? But also, the doctor is right across the street from CVS. So why didn't Lindsay just stop and get it? She knew what she needed. Weird. Moving on. 4:13, Lindsay searches 3B in the distance on Apple Maps because somebody needed to know how far it was and how long they were going to be gone for. But I don't think it was Lindsay. 4:47, Lindsay calls CVS and speaks to the manager, which is confirmed. She has given that statement about Miralax, which she says wrong when she's talking to the manager, and also doesn't say how old the child is that she needs this for, and the manager has to ask. Availability. Asked about the availability of it. States that they're out, but they have something similar. Said that she sounded normal when she talked to her. I think that this may have been our evil triplet. I bet she sounds like her just like she looks like us, and I don't like that. 4:53, Lindsay texts Pissy Patrick about the takeout, asks if he wants to get food from 3V. He says yes. She texts back to look at the menu. This text message is totally different than how he says she's been acting all day. She says that she's just not feeling like cooking tonight. It's been an awful day. She's just not feeling it. But he says that this is like the best day she's ever had, like ever. So I'm not sure which it actually is. That doesn't line up either. At 5:09, Lindsay makes an 11-second call to 3V, and then at 5:10, she makes an additional 47-second call to 3V. No idea why there's two. Tells Pissy Patrick to pick up the food. Supposedly, allegedly, at 5:15, Pissy Patrick leaves the house, but you'll see our red stars. 5:24, Pissy Patrick sends an email from his Surface Pro from in the house. Weird, buddy. That doesn't line up. Caught himself up in that. Can't wait to hear more about that this week. 5:32, he supposedly arrives at CVS. Doesn't look like him. 5:33, he calls Lindsay, allegedly. 5:34, there's a 14-second call that ends. 5:34 to 5:35, Lindsay's phone records show the final active data stream. The barometer changes show her rapidly go up 2 to 3 flights in sudden movement. So there's a burst of movement that show her going up 2 to 3 flights of stairs on her phone. And then that is the last movement that we see from her phone. Remember, they never confiscated her watch, so we never got activity from her watch. Even though I bet she was an avid watch wearer because she documented everything, I bet she probably wore that watch every single day. But it was still in that drawer, so we'll never know. They took it now, but I think it's a little late. 5:36, Pissy Patrick checks out at CVS, and then at 5:37 leaves. At 5:50, the neighbor calls the dad and says, hey, Lindsay's outside on the ground, outside their house. 5:50. At 5:54, Pissy Patrick arrives at 3V for the pickup. So 17 minutes after he or someone leaves CVS, 17 minutes later. It is only a 8-minute drive. 5:55, Pissy Patrick leaves and claims it is a 10-minute drive home, so we should have gotten there at approximately 6:05. But at 6:09, he arrives at home. We don't know if that's actually when he got home. We don't know, because there's a 3-mile radius that phone tower pings on, so who knows? The cameras don't work. He sees her car, but he isn't sure if she's home. So he calls her, which he does not include that in both trial and testimony. And no, there's no answer. The house is quiet, so he automatically goes upstairs to the bedroom, because that makes sense. The door is locked, so he charges in, according to one statement, uses the hide-a-key from Cora's room, in another statement, takes 1 to 2 steps in, that's it, but sees blood on the back side of the door on the door handle, which doesn't make sense because it opens like this, but okay, buddy. And he sees the open window, so he automatically runs right back downstairs, goes outside. Pretty sure he doesn't have shoes on, but there's a boot print in the bedroom. Weird. Finds Lindsay laying outside. 6:11, the police are dispatched. So I want to make it very clear. No one but Pissy Patrick hears her speak clearly, okay? Let's make this very clear. No one. Takes 4 minutes for the phone to connect. He claims it's because it goes between data and Wi-Fi. 4 minutes for them to answer. He supposedly asked her, hey, what'd you do? She says, I tried to kill myself. No, she doesn't. She can't say that because she can't speak, okay? Then 911 picks up, and this time he asks her, where are the kids? She says, from what they hear on the recording, supposedly, allegedly, I've never heard it, but from what they hear, the word basement and groans, moans, sounds of death. He's the only one that hears her speak clearly. Bologna sandwiches, Pissy Patrick.